Yeah, so Pan-Afro Link is an exciting networking event that takes place in the UK and has taken place in the UK and in America, and was actually also in Ghana, Accra. So Pan-Afro Link is where all the Pan-Africanist mindset people gather and network, essentially. And also there's panel talks as well from key figures in the African diaspora. So people, not just the diaspora, sorry, Africans on the continent too, people that are movers and shakers and doing things on the ground, making things happen, innovative people. So we got to go there and it was amazing. It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
But that conversation triggered just our differences in how we've grown up in the UK and the US. And we actually realized that everyone's got different experiences around the world. What we do have in common is that we're Africans. You know, whether you are African and you're connected 6 hours away in London to Accra, or you're maybe a 10-hour trip or 24-hour trip from the US, you are still African, and everyone's got their different paths, and we just have to meet each other where we are. And a lot of the time, we've often found ourselves lost because we feel like we don't understand each other. And I think it's time that we start to understand that it doesn't matter what your story is. The main thing that we have common goals, and how do we start building that? So
Pan-Afro Link, we went there because we went to the event that they held in London in Holborn, and we were blown away, simply put, by how they put the event together and what happened and the intentions of it. It was founded by Luo Deng, Eddie Caddy, and a brother called Ant, who's a great friend of Luo Deng. And they guessed they couldn't miss the opportunity of the whole year of return, but to put it on in Accra, Ghana. So we went.
Like I look here, so this year I've been to here and Senegal. And just looking at the way young black men in particular behave towards each other in Ghana and Senegal versus what we see back home in London, I'm just like, it's night and day. Like, I ain't thought about beef once in all the time I've been here. It hasn't even occurred to me. Like, I would just look at you like you was an alien. If you said, where you from, cuz? I'd have been like, what? You brought that energy here, you dickhead. In Senegal, on the beach, anyone's been to Dakar? Well, no, every single day in Dakar, about 10,000 people work out on the beach every single day in Dakar. Mostly boys, but, you know, men, women, children. There's no where you from, cuz, what you looking at? I'm Wolof, you're Yoruba. It's just people actually, black men that actually like each other. And I think that traditional Africanness takes a village to raise a child, Ubuntu. Many of us in the diaspora have lost that. We're not coming back here just to teach. We're coming back here to relearn and reconnect and take away nutrition that we need desperately. So that's what it means to me. Fantastic.
To me, to be African is just to be. It's just the core of who we are. We are so ancient. We are the beginning, right? And so for me, it's simply, you know, black people. You know, anybody who is black has African ancestry. It's in our blood, and it's a beautiful, beautiful gift to be a black person. We are the moral compass, I believe, of the universe, and it's such a powerful thing. And I'm so excited to see how many of us are coming back, are returning, are trying to understand our birthright, trying to understand who it is that we truly are for ourselves on our own terms. And it's such a beautiful time to be alive and to be African. And not just for, like, you know, the sexy music and the food and the jollof wars and all those kind of things. But I think, you know, that's cool, right? It's cool. I like to, you know, dance and thing. But it's also a really beautiful time, I think, on a whole other level where we see almost like a catalytic, like a shift that is happening. And I think it speaks to the spiritual nature of who we are as human beings and who we are as African people and what we get to tap into, I think is really, really powerful. And then there are other ways I think about being African, and I think about, I was talking to somebody about this earlier, but have you heard this? You've heard this, right? Right? Yeah. So I'm Nigerian, right? And so I'm Nigerian, and so we say, I just hissed at you, right? Right? But in the US, we say you're sucking teeth. And then somewhere else, you say you choose. But we all do it. You know what I mean? And there's something so gorgeous about the way that we do it.
Someone kissing their teeth is gorgeous.
It's something so...
These are Americans.
It is.
So if someone kisses their teeth...
That type of swag that only we have.
Not with
right?
you, it's a fact.
You know what I mean?
I'm totally with you. I'm totally with you.
No, it's kind of like, so there was 2 different separate panels asking different questions about the year of return. They were exploring what was happening in Ghana and the power of that. You know, are we running with this whole spirit of the year of return and only seeing the positive aspects, but what are the criticisms? And the audience got opportunities to sort of put those questions forward about how the locals felt about this year of return, and did they benefit from you know, having the extra tourism and all of this kind of stuff, and how we just be careful and mindful that we don't just become another space or another group that is just using Africa as well, you know, just enjoying it and then leaving the locals to rot. So these questions came up, and a lot of kind of, the mindset was very impressive. A lot of people were of the mindset of like, we're not going to do that. We want our locals to benefit from this year of return and extra income that's coming. I think an extra 250 people visited, around
250,000.
250,000 people visited extra and brought in some countless amount of money, which is obviously going to trickle down to the people, we hope. So yeah, these things were discussed on the panel, and it was very interesting and enlightening to see a lot of people on the correct mindset.
And so I think that there's an appreciation that I want to have in this space for the people who won't even be able to access a space like this. Because this conversation that we're having, it's a privileged space, it's an amazing evening, I'm so grateful for it. But there are a lot of people who we know, who we have family, and you know, they're in the village and they're wherever, but they aren't able to access this space. And the reality is the economies are not necessarily working for them, right? And so we see all across the world hundreds of millions of people who are migrating en masse. Because not only do the economies not work, but we have wars, we have famine, we have climate change that is causing way more havoc on the African continent than it is on any part of the world. So I think we have to grapple with the realities of those who are at the margins of the margins, but who are actually the majority. The majority of the world is living on not much at all, right? On not much at all. And I think we have to be very honest about that. Like what it really takes for us to have the type of lives that we have, to have the shoes that we have, to have the phones that we have, to have the ability to get on these airplanes and so on. So many people cannot do what we've done tonight on stage, right? And I just, I don't want to be super sober, and but I kind of do at the same time, right? I want to be honest about what time it is that we're living in, right? And I was here I was in Senegal about 7-8 years ago. I was sharing this story with some friends earlier, and I had my cell phone. I was in a media training with a lot of different grassroots movement leaders from around the continent, and they were looking at me and they're just like, look at you on your phone. And do you know the coltan and what's happening to the children in Congo? Do you know what's happening because of your phone? Because you want to have this tool, and it's so cheap for you, but it costs us our lives. And they confronted me. I tell you, that conversation, that meeting changed the entire course of my life. Because I was so convicted and so confronted with what it really means to live in the Western world and to hold those values and to value profit margins, products, access over people. And so for me, what I want to offer in this conversation and to this around nation building is we got to bring everybody with us.
Yeah.
And we got to make the margins, people on the margin, we need to bring them center. And that's the kind of world I'm trying to build, a type of nation that I'm trying to build with real African values. Because it was real African values that taught me how to fight, taught me how to look out for my siblings, whether or not they were blood or not. They looked like me, they were mine. And so I fight for mine, no matter where we are.
What they're doing is special. Their hearts are special. And yeah, it was a pleasure to not only go to the event, but also to capture them on film.